All right, let's talk about the engine of the world's largest democracy, the Indian Parliament. This is it. This is the place where the future of over 1 billion people is debated, decided, and ultimately written into law. So let's dive right in.
I mean, think about that for a second. How on earth do you give a voice to that many people? Well, the answer lies in the intricate, powerful, and honestly fascinating structure of the Indian Parliament, and that's exactly what we're going to break down.
So here's how we're going to do it. We'll start with the absolute basics, the democratic core. Then we'll get into the two houses, the House of the People and the Council of the States. From there, we'll peek into the engine room, see how order is kept, and wrap it all up with why this entire system is so crucial.
Okay, first things first, let's start at the very beginning. What is the Indian Parliament? Because, it's way more than just a magnificent building. It's the very foundation of India's entire democratic setup.
The Constitution itself tells us that Parliament is the highest lawmaking body in the country, period. This is where the big national issues get thrashed out, where laws are born, and crucially, where the government is held accountable to the people it's supposed to be serving.
Now here's something important. Parliament isn't just one big room. It's what's known as a bicameral system. And that basically means it has two houses, but it's really made up of three key parts. You've got the president, then a house for the people, and a house for the states.
So let's tackle that first house, the Lok Sabha. The name literally means House of the People, and, well, that's exactly what it is. This is the chamber that directly, one-to-one, represents the citizens of India.
And just look at that number, 543. That really gives you a sense of the scale, right? The Lok Sabha has 543 members, and every single one of them is directly elected by ordinary people in their local area. If you're a citizen over 18, you get a vote to choose your representative. It's that direct.
And this house has teeth. It's the one that really holds the government's feet to the fire. Sure, members get a 5-year term, but the government of the day answers to them. If the Lok Sabha passes something called a no-confidence motion, that's it. The government has to resign. That's real power. And if there's one power that truly defines the Lok Sabha, it's this one. At the end of the day, it has the ultimate say over the country's money. It literally holds the purse strings.
So what does that actually mean, controlling the finances? Well, get this. The national budget and any bill that's mainly about taxes or government spending, what's known as a money bill, can only start in the Lok Sabha. The other house can take a look, maybe suggest a few things, but it has no power to block it. What the Lok Sabha says goes.
Okay, on to the second chamber, the Rajya Sabha, also known as the Council of States. So if the Lok Sabha is the direct voice of the people, you can think of the Rajya Sabha as the collective voice of the states. Its whole job, its entire reason for being, is to make sure the interests of India's many different states and union territories are protected. Its members aren't chosen by the public in a general election. Instead, they're elected by the people who have already been elected to the state assemblies. And here's where it gets really different. Unlike the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. It never gets dissolved. It just keeps going. It works on this really neat cycle where a third of its members retire every 2 years and new ones are elected. The whole point is to have stability and continuity, even when the country is in the middle of a general election.
Okay, let's put it all side by side, because this makes it super clear. You've got the Lok Sabha on one side, directly elected, a 5-year term, and all the power when it comes to money. Then you have the Rajya Sabha, indirectly elected, it's permanent, and it acts as a check, a revising chamber. One is the voice of the people, the other is the voice of the states. They're basically two sides of the same democratic coin.
So, we have our two houses, but what actually happens inside them? Well, that takes us into the engine room, this dynamic, constant interplay between the government and the opposition. This is where the real action is, where policy gets forged in the fire of debate. And it's a classic power play, right? The government, the side with the majority of seats in the Lok Sabha, gets to drive the car. They introduce the laws, they set the budget, and the opposition, their job is to be the ultimate watchdog, to question everything, to poke holes in policies, and to make sure the government is held accountable. It's this essential push and pull that makes a democracy healthy.
Now, with all of that debate, all that political sparring, you absolutely need an umpire. In Parliament, those umpires are the presiding officers, the Speaker in the Lok Sabha and the Chairman in the Rajya Sabha. Their whole job is to keep the game fair and make sure things don't get out of control.
And how they get the job is actually quite different. The Speaker is one of their own, an elected member of the Lok Sabha, but the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha,
That's actually the Vice President of India. And while they both keep order, the Speaker has this one massive, unique power. Only they can decide if a bill is a money bill. And that decision is final, reinforcing the Lok Sabha's financial supremacy.
And don't ever think the Speaker's role is just ceremonial. They are the absolute guardian of the House. As one source puts it, the Speaker is the supreme authority inside the Lok Sabha. Their word is final when it comes to controlling debates and making sure everyone plays by the rules. So, we've looked at the houses, the players, the umpires. But let's zoom out for a second. Why does this complicated system matter so much? Well, it all boils down to one simple, powerful idea: safeguarding democracy.
Every single part of this system is designed for that purpose. I mean, think about the daily question hour, where ministers have to stand up and answer for what they're doing, or that careful balance of power between the People's House and the State's Council. These are all built-in mechanisms to demand accountability and protect our democratic values.
When you really boil it all down, that's what it is. It's a finely tuned machine built on a balance of power. You have the government trying to push its agenda forward, the opposition pulling back and asking hard questions, and the neutral authority of the Speaker and Chairman making sure everyone follows the rules of the game. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The Indian Parliament is an incredible institution, but it's not set in stone. As India keeps changing, and changing fast, the real question we should all be asking is this: how does this engine of democracy need to evolve to meet the challenges of tomorrow?